What makes you trustworthy? Pose a question. I'm hoping a response. So that wasn't hypothetical. What makes you trustworthy? Consistency. Honesty. Honesty in that consistency. Integrity. Okay, so there's a value system, there's consistency. What else comes through? Your reputation, what you're known for. Absolutely. Reliability. Absolutely. Some of the landscape challenges that I think we face as consumers is choice overload. Who finds himself watching Netflix or trying to find something on Netflix? My wife and I spend like half an hour most evenings. It's actually become predictable, trying to find something to watch, and you've actually burnt those 30 minutes or 45, sometimes an hour, trying to agree on something. There's choice overload. Not only are we on Netflix, but we're also on our phone. Who's on WhatsApp or on TikTok concurrently? Absolutely. Broken promises. Who has experienced a broken promise from an individual or a brand? We all have. Oh, Brony, exactly, often. Can we agree with that? It's often. That's a fundamental problem. And critically, we've been speaking about social media and the sheer impact that's having on how we consume information. And if you were to look at distrust and deception and the mis and disinformation that we receive, I don't know about you, I don't know what to trust anymore. I find myself on CNN, Al Jazeera, Fox. I'm trying to make sense of where the truth starts and stops. That's probably the way forward. And also with the explosion in AI, I don't know about you, increasingly I can't actually tell whether I've watched a real person speak or it's AI. So trust is a very fragile commodity. And what I want to encourage us to think about with our brands is how do we build trust? And I think it comprises of two key components. Integrity got mentioned, and consistency. So integrity, your value set, your honesty, your transparency, that you show up in every form. If you make a promise, you honor that. You honor that. I can't stress that enough. And that is the foundation of a strong brand. And what I would like to do today is share with you 10 principles that I think can really help you build your brand and ultimately build trust with your clients. One is trusting the customer. And this is quite an exciting story. Sorry. In my mind it was very funny. We were having a bra sorry, I thought it was like I went ahead in the story and you're like, what's going on here? We were having a bra one weekend, as most South Africans do, and I was making the salad, and we had ordered our food from Checkers. And I'd ordered some peppers, and one of the 3 peppers was actually moldy. And I went onto the app pretty much straight away, and they automatically credited me the 30 or 40 rand that it cost. They didn't have to do that. And obviously there's going to be T's and C's in place around how many times you could do this, and it depends on obviously the product or the brand. But Checkers trusted me on that. And I had 30, 40 rand in credit for my next shop. That has gone a long way, and we spent a cuckload of money as a consequence with Checkers. But it's because they trusted me. And I'm telling a room full of people that story. So, trust your customer. Purpose beyond profit. Profit's obviously very important, but it doesn't necessarily connect your customer or client to them. There's a beautiful piece of copy. I don't know if you can all read this. So everyone familiar with Yoko? Yoko exists to give entrepreneurs a platform to grow. Where small businesses thrive, the economy does too. I mean, that is just beautiful. Well, it's just me, all of us, hopefully. Okay, cool. Purpose is beyond making a profit. Profit is a consequence. I'm all for making a profit, but if you want to engage your clients, your customers, build your target audience, it needs to be more than just making a profit. What are you doing to serve, to help? You need to take that next step. So please inculcate that into your brand strategy. How is that embedded in your brand experience and that you are communicating that? So purpose beyond profit. And as I said, whoever wrote the copy for this, I get emotional every time I share the example. Consistency builds credibility. Do you agree with that? Yep. Absolutely. So if we take an example like PPS, all familiar with the brand. In the last year or two, they launched Glue, which speaks to, I would say, one lower socioeconomic cohort. So PPS largely targets graduates in the likes of the sciences, engineers, doctors, accountants, architects, etc. In the last year or two, they introduced Glue, and as you can see on the screen, according to Jennings, who's the MD of the Glue business, the ideal target market for Glue products is middle upper income individuals between the ages of 25 and 55 with a minimum household income of about 30K, ideally with a diploma or degree. So what they have really done effectively is they've built the PPS brand equity, and they're translating that into a new offering. So think about the credibility that you have as a brand, and that launches into extensions, new products, services, etc. So really, consistency in everything that you do has a ripple effect in everything that you do as a whole. Transparency, underrated, overrated? Underrated. Are we familiar with the brand Skin Creamery? Okay, quite a few, fantastic. I absolutely love, this is a marketing tactic, don't get me wrong, but if you look at the middle of the screen, it shows, so under the copy, Sink into Summer, we score 4.82 out of 5 based on 1,380 reviews. I don't know about you, when I see brands with 100% just doing phenomenally well, everyone rates them so highly, I question that. I think that's a bot. I just think none of us are perfect. We can excel, but none of us are perfect. And what I really respect about this brand is, yes, they've shot the lights out in terms of what people say, but you can see with the stars, it's not quite 5 stars, that last little corner isn't filled. So I think transparency is really important. If you look at a number of facets that comprise the Skin Creamery brand, cruelty-free, no animal testing, vegan products, etc., those are signals endorsing the transparency of the business. And increasingly, we want to see the supply chain and what are the raw materials and the ingredients and how that's manufactured, the working conditions, etc. And are we showing that in our brands? And I think, obviously, it depends on the nature of the work that we do. I really believe that can build brand equity. I keep going back to the concept of brand equity. It's brand value, it's perception, it's the ability to charge more because you're seen as a strong business. So that's transparency. And I highly recommend, as a side note, Skin Creamery. They make lovely products and South African. Shout out, I wouldn't mind getting paid for saying that. Who of us uses social proof in their marketing? Maybe let me explain that. So it's where your customers, your clients, content, whether that be in the form of testimonials, reviews, etc., you're harnessing in your marketing. So the idea is social proof, it's proof points. And there's a quote by the great Martin Newmeyer. He's a globally renowned brand strategist. And he famously says, it's not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. Yeah. Okay, some of us know that it's such a universal quote. It's not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. I can say how wonderful I am, and I am, according to my parents. But like Cindy mentioned with her children, and that's lovely. But when it comes to brand and business, it's what other people are saying about us that really holds water. I think we're familiar with AfriHost, and this is a screenshot from their website. Look at how they have engineered the brand experience around what they're signaling. So, yeah, nearly 74,000 people just like you. I thought it was very interesting copy, very relatable. Rate AfriHost the best ISP in South Africa. And you can see they've drawn the Google ratings of 4.7 out of 5. That's really impressive. In addition, look at how they've curated, that's a big component of brand and marketing, specific quotes. Whether it be David or Daphne, best ISP in terms of service, internet speed, and value for money. Jeepers, those tick all the boxes as far as I'm concerned. It's not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. So if other people are endorsing your brand, that goes a long way in terms of trust. So the key takeaway here is, how are you harnessing what other people say about your brand? So testimonials are a great way to go, and there's 2 parts to that. There's written testimonials, and obviously with their blessing, with their permission. If you can get their profile picture, get a short quote that you can include in your marketing, again, with their permission. Another format or way to skin that is video. If you can get your clients to say how great you are on video, that is absolute gold as far as I'm concerned. So just think about how can you incorporate that. And then promises kept build trust. I think we all agreed, as I pointed out earlier, that brand and trust is all around being consistent and delivering on your promise. The bottom left-hand corner of Sorbet, which we're all familiar with, our promise is simple. Should you leave Sorbet feeling cared for and confident? English is apparently my mother tongue. Our promise is simple. You should leave Sorbet feeling cared for and confident. If your treatment isn't exactly what you expected, tell us. We'll do everything to make it right. And if we can't, your treatment is on us. I don't know about you. Obviously, you want to resolve it because there's a cost implication. But if we cannot meet halfway, your treatment, whatever cost, is on us. What does that say to you? If you, as a client, if you went into a Sorbet, you had a bad experience and know that you didn't have to pay for it, how do you feel? It actually course corrects. So I just thought that was a really interesting example of the promise that Sorbet are, it's right front and center on their website. So please think about the promises that you make, that we in fact keep them. Communication. Do you think communication is an important component of trust? Yep. If you never hear from a brand, what does that signal? If they have a social presence but they post every few years, what does that say to you? Whereas if there's consistent communication, obviously there's a frequency element that you have to dial in and be careful of. But we need to think about what does that communication look like? What are the channels relative to our audience? And what is the frequency? I'm sure a lot of us buy online. I don't know about you, I expect my hand to be held along that process, from payment being made through to that product arriving at my doorstep. And I think Pargo is a fantastic example of that. I don't know if any of you have used, a few heads are nodding. The communications is fantastic. We've received your order. You can expect your order in the next 24 hours. You can expect your order now. That clear communication endears us to the brand. So my question to you is, what does your communication strategy look like? Are you clear on the way in which your audience wants to receive that message? WhatsApp, depending on the circumstance, could be one of the most beautiful platforms. Who's on 100 groups though? That's the only consequence. But too many. But the point is, when you're hearing from a brand, particularly around something that's important to you, to get those notifications, a bit like Pargo is really effective. This, I think, was really impressive. So Flyer Sapphire, accountability and action. So this is a screenshot from a previous tweet. We had a number of diversions this morning due to weather in Cape Town, this morning. This has affected a number of flights throughout our day. Our operational teams are working tirelessly to minimize these delays and get everyone to their destinations as soon as possible. You can check out the flight dates. And then the important piece of copy here is we apologize for the inconvenience caused and appreciate your understanding and patience during this time. If you stuff up, obviously this is not much you can do about the weather, but they've gone onto a very powerful platform like X, Twitter, and have taken accountability that there are delays. They're not under rug swept in terms of the crisis or issue. You can build your brand through a crisis if you keep your target audience or broader audience aware. This is what's happened. This is what we're doing about it. Having a center point of contact, and that can endear you to a brand. So think about that. When cuck hits the fan, you can turn it around. But it's about transparency, and it's about accountability, and it's about action, underpinned by your communication. So I think Fly Sapphire has done a really good job in this particular instance. Clarity creates confidence is the next piece. And we only have about 200 to 300 slides left. So I really thought I was funny this morning. My wife gave up on me many years ago. So you're surprised I'm married, hey? I just wear this ring, it just looks like, anyway. Clarity creates confidence. Are you clear on your value prop, so your value proposition? Does that live through all your touch points? Whether that be your company profile, your creds deck, your email signature, your social channels, your website, your banners. Is there clarity in what you're offering? Because if you can do that, that does help build trust. And kudos to SnapScan, which is owned by Nice. Hey, there's some sharp peeps in the crowd here. Thought I'd just bring in Standard Bank. Kudos. And thank you for having us, by the way. Very clear, this is a screenshot from their website, very clear comms as to what you can do with your app. Ways to pay, use your wallet, buy prepaid electricity, etc. Think about that relative to your brand. Is there clear communication? Because that can endear you to the brand. And then lastly, which I thought was, at least in my case, in my view, funny, my creepy teacher. Do you remember my octopus teacher? How it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Who else cried? When I say else, I'm including myself. Okay, thank you. Your EQ is obviously very high. Cheers. Basically, so Retroviral is a very formidable ad agency. And basically the copy reads, COVID-19 resulted in job losses, brands were bragged, and people were subjected to cancel culture. The national sentiment was overwhelmingly negative. That is until Netflix dropped a documentary about a Capetonian befriending an octopus. I'm sure we all can agree it was a beautiful documentary. While the conversation was erupting about my octopus teacher, we decided to hijack the news and remind South Africa about the original majestic creature of the deep, deepen, the creepy crawly. We created a viral spoof video hearing the OG creepy crawly in a documentary style mimicking that of the Netflix show. Results: from concept to viral in 96 hours. To come up with an idea to a full campaign, folks, is, I think we can all agree, incredible. Translation builds trust. Look at some of these stats. Over 5 million views from that video. Reach over 2 billion people across multimedia channels. And critically, we want to see the sales translation, a 20% increase in product demand, or I suppose linked to that, product demand for creepy crawly. So one of the key takeaway here is with your brand, how are you showing results? It doesn't matter whether you're in product or service space. It's about what will my client get from working with you or your customer get from you. And my question to you is, are you explicit in that? So out of interest, are you explicit? By working with you, what do I get? So please think about that. So those are the 10 principles. And I think we're good for time. I don't know if there's any questions. Ma'am.
Do you do one-on-ones?
Yes. Okay, cool. We'll chat. Lovely. Thank you. Anything else? There's been a good few talks. I'm the one person stopping you from, is it food or coffee? I am, Cindy. Okay. There's plenty of time. Okay. We still have time. Any other questions? Good. Ma'am. Sue.
Which company would you say is an example of the worst case that you know of in recent history of trust breakdown? What comes to mind?
What you were all thinking.
Yes.
I would say, but actually,
So if we talk about all the positive, what's one of the ones that you would say this is what they could have done and they messed up with?
I want to say ear skin.
yeah, actually, be curious. Yes, but increasing. I want to, if one comment from our side is, we have electricity, so I'm very grateful for that. Prior to that, the communications has been horrendous, and the impact on GDP and economy has been horrific. So from a communications perspective, Eskom definitely wins in my books. Over to you.
I just said ear skin.
Yeah. Yeah, but it seems like things are better, so it's become less of a focus in my arena.
I don't think they've ever had trust, sorry to say it, but for a long time, I don't think so. I don't think, in my mind, they're an example of, because consistently they've been unreliable, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking more of a company that oh, this thing happened. Bad
Yeah.
press.
Yeah.
Handled it differently.
I think because it's settled, because it's not front and center like Eskom's push. I'm trying to get I want to say the word right, because that'd be an absolute fail. I think because it's not front and center, it's not necessarily headlines for us. Yeah. Sorry, I think there was a hand,
Yes,
gent.
I think that communication is the critical aspect. Okay, in every business, communication with your customer is a critical aspect. I notice right now I'm busy building up my new factory space, and I need people to come and do their work. We pay them for the work that they've been doing, but they do not communicate with us. They do not communicate. I mean, I'm without fiber in my place or telecom line for the last month, and I gave my emails to telecom on the 24th of April, and as of today, I still don't have them moving me across. and I communicate with them, I send them messages, I send emails,
So there's an
nothing.
Okay, so I think that would be example two of just that's horrendous, and the impact on your business.
The problem
Yeah.
lies is they'll say, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry that we had this problem, I'm sorry that we cannot help you right now, but we've had XYZ problem, but they won't communicate it with you unless you go and call them.
So very reactive
So
and
it's very
doesn't,
reactive.
and also you want to move. I'm sure you want to move from telecom to another
But the
brand.
problem is if I start to do that now, it's going to take me another 2 weeks to get something started up.
Yeah, you're between a rock and a hard place, as Gabe mentioned. Yes, I think spot on.
We caught you in a rock and a
A
hard
hard place.
again.
Yeah. All I can say is I'm sorry. I hope it turns around quickly.
Wow, I hope so too.
Yeah.
But I
Brian,
find
yeah.
with most companies, they don't communicate well with you. You phone them, you ask them for a service to be done. And I understand that today, for you to come out to see a customer, it's not cheap anymore.
But there's other ways that you can engage. So I think maybe in summarizing your points is empathy for your customer and being in communication. This is where we're up to.
Communication
It goes
is
a
the
long
most
way.
important part.
Yeah.
The communication is very important.
Knowing that you're less than 2 weeks away will make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then we all know what to do.
Yes. Yeah, we want clarity. Absolutely. Brian, I think you had a comment or a question?
I just wanted to say something. I loved your presentation, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
What I wanted to say is just on the ISCOM thing, and I think it speaks directly to what you were saying about consistency and trust. Some brands don't have that. And there's no integrity in a lot of the parastatals and a lot of the brands out there. So if you are saying that they should be concerned about what you think, if they don't have the basics like you've just been saying,
Yeah.
they don't exist. It doesn't matter to them whether they communicate with you or not. And I'm just reaffirming what you said.
Yes, no, you're 200% right. Yeah.
ISCOM is 100% example of that because they don't care.
Yeah.
Only when you care about other people, and people, as you say, that are using your product. So I'm just trying to back up.
Yes, yeah, no, you're reinforcing a lot of the themes. Yeah.
And I think it's brilliant. And this ISCOM thing, I mean, it's never going to work because they don't have the fundamentals.
And trust is broken. And also trust is broken. How do you? I mean, who could trust ISCOM again out of interest? This is turning to the ISCOM hating session. But there's so. Sorry. This looks like wood. But maybe in summary, I think it's too far gone. The trust is broken. Yeah. Maybe one.
Doesn't the trust though begin with us?
Yeah.
I think, and I mean, I'm just a little Joe Soap, but I think as Joe Soaps, we all have an impact on the change.
Yes.
And if we can all help each other, sharing the things that worked, I think today has been amazing. You're all sharing stuff that's working. You're all sharing how you care. You're sharing how you make a difference. And I think we've lost the focus. It's like, this isn't working, not how can I make it work? Or where can I help someone to make them work? Yeah.
I really respect that. It's very entrepreneurial of you as well. Sorry, I just saw that in your with what you're saying.
Someone should
Yeah. Yeah. Someone is actually it needs to be us. One last comment, Fran. But yeah, that was lovely. Thank you.
So I have a two-part question in regards to marketing in particular. How often do we need to reevaluate our marketing strategy as a whole in terms of realigning to what is prevalent in today or going forward? And what do you think is the implication of AI in that in the marketing space, and how do you see that going forward?
So I really like Gay's presentation with the whole 5-year, things can change fundamentally. I mean, imagine pre-COVID and then plan, we didn't expect that. Safely annually, but often with my clients, we are reviewing the strategy, what's working pretty much on a weekly basis. Yeah, because you want to see the efficacy of, so your brand then translates into your marketing strategy, right? So what is translating in terms of those activities? So I would actually look very closely to the efficacy and what translates. And then AI, I think is I don't know, I'm agnostic as to what's going to happen. I really don't know. But I think it's having a massive impact. I see it in marketing. I mean, we actually use the example of in the legal space. Personally, I think litigation is well positioned for certainly the foreseeable future because of that we need another person to defend us. Whereas, for example, NDAs, SLAs, any kind of documentation, ChatGPT in many respects can do that. So I just think you need to try and AI proof yourself based on a human need. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, time over. Sorry. Oh, sorry. There's a photo. Sorry, there's a photo.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
Oh, it's just
I don't want to
about
miss my
screen.
gift.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.